Hey there, this is Scott Smith, and in today's video, I'm going to show you two different ways to create custom buttons in SwiftUI. Now let's jump right into Xcode and get going. So here we are in my home view. The only thing it has, though, is this button. It's not customized or anything. You tap this button, it prints out, subscribed, with 3 different exclamation points. Yeah! Pretty cool, right? See in this canvas, it has a subscribe button. That's not that cool, right? We want to customize this thing. All right, let's do that. Let's show you the first way to create a custom button in SwiftUI. Let's start out by pressing Command-Shift-J to automatically jump us into the project navigator and highlight the current view that we're in. And I do that because now I can just hit Command-N to be able to create a brand new file right next to that home view file in the project navigator. Nice, right? All right, tap the Swift file. Next, give this thing a name. We'll call it My Custom Button. Actually, you can call it whatever you want. My Custom Button, create. And here we are in our new file. Now I'm going to hit Command-0 to hide that left pane. And then instead of Foundation, I'm going to import SwiftUI so we can create a custom view. So here's the first way to create a custom button in SwiftUI. Let's create a struct. I'm going to call it My Custom Button because, hey, that's the name of my file. And it needs to conform to view. So how do you conform to view? Like this, var body : some view. Then you throw something in here so you don't get any errors because of an empty body. Nice, but we're creating a custom button. So let's throw a button in here and we'll see what it accepts. It accepts an action, which is an empty closure type. And yes, a closure is a type. And then the second one is this label. That's actually kind of a silly name because it's this view builder thing. So you pass in a view for the content of your button. So whatever you want it to look like, that's what you pass in to this part. Let's hit enter and check this out. So the action, we'll just put open and close curly braces for now. And hit enter on the label part. Delete this end part after the curly braces. You don't need it. And then we see that we have this closure here for an action. And we have this closure here that's a view builder. So an action closure and a view builder closure. Nice. Let's throw something right here so we don't have any errors. So let's go ahead and create a couple properties to mimic this button. So we'll say let action be of type empty closure. That's cool. And then the second thing will be the content, right? That thing they called label or whatever there in the button. And we'll have it be of type view because we can throw in a view for the content of this button, right? Well, almost, because look at this error. Protocol view can only be used as a generic constraint because it has self or associated type requirements. Well, the thing that you need to focus on here is protocol, because view is a protocol, and then it can only be used as generic constraint. So let's go like this. So you can basically pass in whatever you want as the content for your button, right? As long as whatever you pass in, so whatever you want to pass in, has to conform to view, like that. Put your generic type right there. So whatever you want to pass in as your content has to conform to view. So now let's quickly create an initializer for this stuff. We'll say, hey, what happened there? Init, and we'll say action is of type this empty closure. And the second thing is content, and that is this closure with whatever you want, right? Whatever you want. Nice. Now, one thing to note here, this action here is actually going to leave this scope right here, right? It's going to, in other words, escape this scope because, it's going to be used in this button. This custom button is going to be used somewhere else. This action is going to escape the scope. So, there can be another video on that another day, but for now, that's the nutshell version. Escaping, that's all you need to put there. And now this content right here is actually a view builder. So we need to mark it as view builder, like that. All right, let's go ahead and initialize these things. Self action equals action. Cool. Now self content equals content. But with this one, we need to open and close those parentheses to immediately call it so we can just start building that view. Nice. Now we have these two things, action, content. Let's put them right into our button. We have our action right here. Instead of those curly braces, pass in the action thing we have. And instead of this text view, let's put in content, right? And this is the cool part where we can start customizing the content. Put our modifiers right on it. So let's start out by putting some padding, because I want to create like a capsule-shaped button. Capsule. So I'll put in some padding around the text, I guess, padding around the button. And then I'm going to create a frame. The min width of it is going to be 0. And then the max width, like this, is going to be .infinity. In other words, by default, I want the width of this button to fill the screen or fill the view it's being used in. That'll be cool. Then if you want to put padding later on, you can do it wherever you are in any other view. All right, next thing, this is where it gets exciting. Create the background, capsule, like that, and fill it up with a color. How about blue? Oh, not style. Fill it with color blue, or whatever color you want. And my text, I'll do foreground color, and I want some white text on a blue background. That looks nice. Well, I can't see it, but it will look nice. So there we are, a custom button, the first way to do it. Let's go ahead and use this thing and see what it looks like. Here we go. So now we have this normal button, but let's make a V-stack really quick because I want to show you more than one button stacked on each other. And move that text up there. If you want to know how I did that magical text moving thing, check out my video on Xcode keyboard shortcuts. All right, so we've got this button over here. It says subscribe. But now we want to use my custom button, right? So we'll type my custom button, open it up. Hey, we've got the action right there and the label. Hit enter. Nice. Open and close parentheses, not parentheses, curly braces. Tab over, hit enter. Whoa, this is cool. All right, let's make kind of like the same looking button. So we'll copy this text right here and paste it right there. Resume our canvas so we can get it to load up this second button. And whoa, there we go. Edge to edge. See that? Goes all the way to the left side and the right side, just like that. Pretty cool, right? And it's got a little padding around the button and everything. So now, like I was saying, we can add padding to the side here because in home view, yeah, I want this button to be a little bit off the side. So we'll say padding. There we go. See this? Now it's got a little padding all the way around the button over here. On the top, left, bottom, right. Very nice. That is the first way you can create a custom button in SwiftUI. Let's go ahead and put an action in this button. Let's say print, and what should it say? It should say, you win! Exclamation points, because yeah, who doesn't like them? All right, the second way you create a custom button in SwiftUI, it really is a button style that we're going to create. So you can create a new file for this if you want, but just to get right into it, I'm just going to create it right here because I just want to get going. So you can just hurry and see how this is done. So create a new struct. And we'll say, I don't know, primary button style, or whatever you want to call it. And this primary button style needs to conform to button style. That's cool. Open it up like that. And how do you conform to button style? Well, let me show you. You do make body. Pretty neat, right? I think that's pretty neat. But we want it to return some view, just like that. And in here, we can just get going right off the bat because this configuration thing right here is where the magic happens. Configuration dot label. Okay, I had to quickly pause right here to tell you I'm going to copy the same modifiers from the custom button and paste them in right here for this configuration. All right, here we go. And paste those right here. Highlight that stuff like this. Control I, fix the indentation, and there we go. But there's one thing about this. If you use a button style, it doesn't automatically come with the automatic highlighting when you tap the button. So you got to do that yourself here. But luckily, there's a thing here that makes the magic happen, like I said. So let's make another thing right here. Modifier, opacity, just like that. And we'll say configuration dot, look at this, is pressed. Did you see what that said? Is pressed. Whether or not the button is currently being pressed down. Now that is convenient. Opacity configuration, is this button pressed? Question mark? Huh? Then we'll make the opacity 0.4. If it's not pressed, we'll leave it at 1. Nice. Now how do you use this second way of making a custom button? Actually a button style, right? You go like this. Come up to the second button. Watch this. This modifier called button style. And just throw in a primary button style instance right there. You're good to go. Check out this canvas. Hit resume. You'll see the exact same looking button right there below it. Boom. And now, let's go ahead and run this so you can see both buttons and how they work exactly the same. I'll hit Command R. I find it works a little better if I just run it in the app, in the simulator, rather than doing this live preview over here. All right, here we are. Now, let's open up our console. Command Shift Y. Go back over here. Hit the first button, subscribe. You win! Yeah! And the second one, subscribe, subscribed, woohoo! See that? Look how perfectly that highlighting works. That configuration.isPressed. Look at that. It's exactly what you want, right? And that's really cool because you can just do whatever you want there. This is pressed, do something else, right? Really neat. So those are the two ways in SwiftUI to create custom buttons. Well, one of them is a custom button, the other one's a custom button style. Pretty cool. All right, if you like this, like the video, subscribe if you want. You'll get notifications about my videos if you want, all that kind of stuff. Follow me on Twitter. Cool. Stay cool. Be cool. Do cool things. I don't know. Do whatever you want. See you later.